Hi, everyone. Welcome to a brand new episode of Not Aspirational. I'm your host, Hannah Aaron Brown. Welcome back. Happy Hump Day. I'm thrilled to be here. How are y'all doing? I hope everyone's having a glorious week. I hope everyone had a great weekend and a gorgeous Juneteenth. Couple housekeeping things right off the bat. First of all, I had the honor of guesting on the Best Week Ever podcast with friend of the pod, Van, this week. So keep an eye out for that. It was super fun as always. And we talked about a bunch of fun pop culture things. Also, I have a Patreon update for you all. And this is not going to be easy to say, but I need you to bear with me. Okay. For months, I was like, the Patreon's coming, the Patreon's coming, the Patreon's coming. I need to take a pause on the whole Patreon thing. And here's why. We all know the Hannah giveth and the Hannah taketh away. Okay, let's just this isn't going to make me look good, but in the interest of transparency, I am going to just walk through this with you so that you understand where I'm coming from with this decision. I started Not Aspirational as the podcast Brown Eyed Junicorn in 2016. Rebranded beginning of 2020. Made it go night-night, I think in 2021, okay? Then brought it back last year. I had a Patreon somewhere in there that also went night-night. I start You Know You Love Us with friend of the pod, Tyler Meredith. That's my Gossip Girl podcast that we co-hosted together. Tried to start a Patreon with that. Both of those went night-night with no explanation, no announcement whatsoever. And the reality was we both just got kind of burned out and overwhelmed. And to this day, we're like, should we bring it back? And we haven't had time. So that said, I don't want to create all this buzz around the Patreon when the reality of the situation is I have other things I'm working on right now that need to take precedent. Okay? Priority, precedent, whatever. I would rather focus my energy on making this show as amazing as it can be and delivering good, regular episodes with fun guests that I know you'll love and well-researched episodes. And then when it's time to create a Patreon, if that's something I eventually want to do, I want those episodes to be great too so that you feel like they're worth your time and your money. And I don't want to splash up some ill-conceived Patreon that I can't keep up with right now just so that I can take it away in a few months. Does that make sense? Because the reality is, and I'm not trying to sound like Michaela Nagara, try being an influencer for a day. But I do work full time. I work from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. every day. And then after work, I work on this podcast. I work on my TikTok. I'm working on a short film. I have more meetings in the industry, like I mentioned last week, which is very exciting. And I'm just trying to balance all those things. I also have a novel that I'm trying to start. So I have a lot of things that I'm balancing creatively. And hopefully I'll have some more auditions soon. And I'm just trying to sort of force myself to be like, Hannah, instead of chasing this idea that you have to monetize this podcast because otherwise what's the point? Why not just keep it low key and fun and keep cultivating this amazing community with you all? And if and when I have the bandwidth for a Patreon, you will be the first people to know. But I want it to be something good, and I want it to be something worth your time and money, and I want it to be something that I can guarantee you I will be able to keep up with. So that's an update on the Patreon. I just figured I owed you a response because in the past I've just been like, never mind, and dropped off. And thanks to Dr. Doctor, I'm becoming a better communicator all the time. So thank you in advance for understanding, and feel free to email me at notaspirationalpod@gmail.com or DM me at Hannah Aaron Brown on Instagram if you have any thoughts, feelings. I'm not going to change my mind, but I'm happy to hear you out. Okay, love you. Thank you for understanding. Okay, last weekend, I have to talk about last weekend because I had a great weekend. Another banger of a weekend. And I'm sorry, again, I don't want to be braggadocious, but it was a good weekend. You know why? Well, first of all, it was 3 days long. Second of all, I celebrated Juneteenth with my Orange Theory family. That was a delight. We went to Run Club at Orange Theory on Friday night, and there was a little pre-run get-together snack sesh, and then Jake and I walked it, and then we came back and hung out a little longer. It was really, really fun. And we decided to take this last weekend to just slow the fuck down and get some house projects done. Jake put up a mirror in the bedroom. He put up our art. We put some stuff up on a shelf in the office. We did some organizing. And it was just really nice to slow the fuck down, catch up on Love Island, go to bed early, behave our fucking selves, and get some stuff done around our house. And it really feels like after 6 months of living here, it's really starting to feel like home. And of course, it's such a process settling into a new place and personalizing it, making it feel like yours and sourcing everything, but it's been really nice to like finally knock some things off of our list. Also, Saturday night was really fun because, okay, well, Saturday morning, I went to an early Pilates class with one of my favorite instructors. Shout out to Peyton. I love her. She is like the only person who could get me out of bed super early on a Saturday morning to feel the burn. She's great. So I went to a 7:30 a.m. Pilates class on Saturday. Then that night, I went to an improv show with some friends. And then after the improv show, everyone was like, hey, we want to go home. We want to go home. And I was like, I love my outfit. I'm going to go to the Dresden and see some jazz. And Jake was like, you enjoy that. I'm in for the night, but like you have fun. Hung out with my friends at the Dresden, saw some jazz, had like 50 martinis, had a fucking great time, and just like was feeling very much like, wowie, this is living. And I mean, you just have those nights out where they're not planned, but you like your outfit. Everyone's in a silly, goofy mood. And you go home and you're like, that was great. I have no notes. Then Sunday, Jake and I go to the farmer's market again. You guys, we're on a 3-week streak of going to the farmer's market. And I'm not saying going to the farmer's market on a Sunday is like some revolutionary thing. I am saying Jake and I are feeling very wellnessy, being like, oh, look at these beautiful grapefruits. Oh, look at these purple peppers. Have you ever seen a shade of purple like it? I mean, I was having a blast. And I was a little hungover at the farmer's market. I was in one of those like hungover moods where everything was funny and I was just cracking myself up and Jake was cracking me up. Like we got out of the car and we were walking to the farmer's market and I made a joke about like, wouldn't it be so funny if I you guys might be like, Hannah, that's not funny. Wouldn't it be so funny if I just like was fully topless, like fully topless walking around the farmer's market, just being like, oh my God, babe, look over here. And Jake's like, yeah, you're just fully topless, being like, oh my God, look at this guava, babe. This is so good. And you like take a yogurt sample and you're like, ooh, spilled on myself. And I just thought, sometimes I just think the idea of doing everyday things topless and like acting normal is like the funniest bit in the world. I fear that I've alienated some of you right now, but like, come on. It's really funny the thought of just like a topless person walking around the farmer's market and like specifically a topless woman. And what's unfortunate about that is like, we should be able to do everything topless everywhere we want as women, but we just don't live in a society where that's normalized. So in my mind, it's really funny. Please don't call me an anti-feminist because that's not the truth, Ellen. But like I was cracking myself up. And then at the farmer's market, this one guy was like, come over here, have the best strawberry in America, the best strawberry in America. Come get a sample. And I was just like, God, I love that confidence. Like, I think we should all channel that confidence in anything we do all the time. Best strawberry in America. There is this one creator, Dana Donnelly. Shout out to Dana Donnelly on Instagram and TikTok. She is so fucking funny. She's a comic. I'm sure she's a writer too. I don't know for sure. I just know I love her and her work. But I think her old Instagram handle was Hottest Dana. And there was a point where her bio was like the hottest Dana in the world. And I was like, fuck yes, you are the hottest Dana in the world. And like, that's what I'm talking about. Like, that kind of confidence where you're just like, this is the best strawberry in America. I'm the hottest Hannah in the world. Like that is the mood that's the whole thesis statement of my summer. Okay. And more on how slutty and horny this summer is in a second. Moving on. I got some fucking dank raspberry yogurt and I was trying my samples. I did have a top on. Sorry. Oops. Spilled it myself. I was trying yogurt samples and I was like, what's the Bavarian cream like? And the guy described it as fluffy and decadent. And I said, holy shit. And the woman next to me just started laughing. And I think what I really love about the farmer's market is it just like forces like human interaction and human connection in a way that a lot of things these days don't. And so like I'm trying all these samples. I'm giggling with the woman next to me. I go with the raspberry. I'm like, this is amazing. I was picking out my strawberries. I did, unfortunately, don't tell the guy, I didn't get his strawberries. I didn't get the best strawberries in America, but I do think I got the second best. And I was picking out my basket of strawberries, and this woman goes, pick a basket, any basket that speaks to you. And I was like, I pick this one. This one and I have had a full conversation. And she laughed, and I laughed. Heck, Jake even giggled, and he's used to my shenanigans at this point. And I was just like, this is beautiful. I fucking love being alive. And I say this as someone who, like, sorry to be dark and stormy, for many years of my life did not love it so much. And so I was like, this is living. And then I walk by this gorgeous young woman every Sunday. She represents a vineyard called Dancing Crow Vineyards. This gorgeous young woman, she's handing out wine samples, okay? And every Sunday I'm confronted with her and I'm like, oh, like hungover, looking down the barrel of a loaded gun, being like, I actually cannot take your wine samples, but like every Sunday you are dewy and perfect, handing out these like chic wine samples, and I'm a goblin child, like fighting for my life. And I think that's the balance. Like that's beautiful. You know, that's something I can rely on in this crazy world. Back to how this summer feels like slutty and horny. According to The Cut, which I would argue is one of the chicest publications, and I dream of being published in The Cut as a writer. I have been quoted in The Cut before, which is the flex that I think it is. And of course I was, because I'm the hottest Hannah in the world as of right now when I'm recording. According to The Cut, vodka cranberry is the drink of the summer. And that just feels very spiritually right to me, because all my outfits this summer, and I don't think this is revolutionary. I think I'm just influenced by culture, like pop culture and everything that's going on right now. I am dressing very Y2K this summer. Like I have these like athletic capris from Uniqlo that almost are like a raincoat material, not like Teflon, but like kind of, I don't know what the material is called, but like windbreaker material. And then all these like tank tops that are very Y2K, my little like Von Dutch t-shirt from Marshalls. Like I'm feeling very early 2000s, and a vodka cranberry feels like it fits in perfectly to that. And that said, I'm also on my like health and wellness BS this summer, just like trying to feel really like snatched and sexy. And again, not in a way where we're being nasty to ourselves. That's not the vibe. In a way where it's like, if something isn't serving me in my lifestyle, in this case, like the way I was living when it comes to eating and drinking, then we can change it. We can gently and kindly say, that's okay, babe. Let's try this instead. So that said, I've been looking for lighter alcohol options because I'll always be a 365 party girl. I'm just being more strategic about it. And that said, I think a vodka soda with a lime and a splash of cranberry sounds so refreshing and so perfect and like so on brand for me, and honestly all of you, everyone who wants to participate this summer. And that's very, very exciting for me. And we're leaving next week for a Midwestern extravaganza. We're going to Kansas City to visit Jake's family for the 4th. Then we're driving through Bloomington, Normal, Illinois, through Illinois State, my favorite place, to stop and grab lunch. And then we're going to Chicago to see my dad and his girlfriend and my older sister and my brother-in-law. And then we're going to go to Lake Geneva with my college besties and their husbands and kids for a few days. So it's going to be really fucking fun. All that to say, I'm like, it's going to be a vodka cran kind of trip. And that's like incredibly exciting to me. And I have to say, sorry, I'm going to go back to like the early 2000s fashion of it all. I've been having so much fucking fun wearing my early 2000s outfits. Like a chunky sneaker with a capri pant and like a little tank top. Like I can't think of anything sexier. And I think it's because when I was in junior high and it was like for real the early 2000s and all those outfits were in, I remember like watching Desperate Housewives with my mom and being like, oh my God, Eva Longoria is like the hottest woman to ever exist, because like she is and she was, etc. And her outfits were so fucking tea, like her little juicy suits and her little Tiffany necklace. Like they were just so cunty and cute and girly pop. But I was like an unfortunate like 12-year-old with braces. And so I couldn't really like enjoy those trends. And now that I'm the hottest Hannah in the world at the age of almost 35, it's very fun for me to enjoy those trends, you know? It's like, it feels like a form of inner child work. I'm being so fucking for real. I'm not even exaggerating. It feels like a form of inner child work to go back and wear outfits that you didn't feel cute in the early 2000s as like an adult, when you're confident and feel good about yourself. You know what I mean? So 10 out of 10 recommend. Get yourself some capris and a little Von Dutch t-shirt, maybe some gaucho pants and like a slouchy bag. Heck, get yourself a little handkerchief skirt. Those have been in for the last couple summers. Go thrifting and just live your Gabrielle Solis, Eva Longoria, circa Desperate Housewives bliss, okay? Another thing I'm obsessed with this summer is Dua Lipa and Callum Turner. And a lot of you are going to be like, yeah, where the fuck have you been? I only just realized that Dua Lipa is so much more than a pop star specializing in soft choreo, a term that was coined by friend of the pod, Jessie Chambliss. She's so much more than that. She's literally like Mother Teresa. Like I was looking at her Instagram the other day. Her whole bio is just like link, link, link. It's like she started a book club. She has this podcast, and it's not just a podcast. It's not like a dummy podcast like mine. It's like a podcast about like how to make the world a better place. And she's like, she's so fucking smart and she's so talented. Maybe not at dancing, but like in other ways, she's really talented. And she seems like a wonderful, lovely human being. And the way her and Callum Turner are so obsessed with each other and they're so fucking sexy. There were these photos, obviously the photos from their wedding came out and no notes, like she looked incredible. The wedding looked stunning and they're just so cool. They're so effortlessly cool. But there were other photos of them, I think from Demois, where they were like in Europe together on the beach and he's like reading a book and she's like laying on top of him in her bikini and her bandana. And like, if it were a celebrity couple that felt at all performative, I would hate them. Like if it were Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively doing that, I would be like, give me a fucking break. But with the two of them, it feels so real and organic and authentic that like I'm kicking my feet. Like I have butterflies watching them do things together and I just like love their love. And what a treat that we get to live in a time where Callum Turner and Dua Lipa just got married and they're gallivanting around just being hot and young and in love. I mean, what a fucking gift. What a gift. Another couple that I ship very hard, but we don't know if they're official yet, is Keke Palmer and Sean Evans of Hot Wings fame. Now, this has been a years-long slow burn, and I have no doubt that right now, as you're listening to this and as I'm recording it, someone is writing fan fiction about those two, and someday it will be turned into a book and then a series a la like Off Campus. It'll be one of those limited series based on a book that people go fucking nuts for because this is a love story for the ages. So Sean Evans has had Keke Palmer on Hot Wings a handful of times. He's always been like obsessed with her. Like the way he looks at her, he's just like, wow, you're an incredible person. And it's like not in a way where it's like a creepy wolf in a cartoon who's like, bleh, like with his eyes like bulging out of his head. It's like the way he looks at her and smiles is like he appreciates her for everything that she is. Obviously, she's gorgeous, but she's so much more than that. She's so funny and hardworking and sweet and warm. And he appreciates her for everything that she is. And I just am obsessed with them. And they were spotted having dinner in Brooklyn like 2 weeks ago. So everyone's like, oh, fuck you guys. And everyone is on TikTok like shipping these two. And it's been like a slow burn. This has been a series of years where he's had a crush on her. And recently we've like, you know, there's been more murmurings. We've seen them together doing interviews more and they're just so cute together. So everyone's on TikTok being like, oh my God, these people need to date. They're perfect for each other. Let's do it. They were spotted in Brooklyn having dinner. And then that was like 2 weeks ago. So everyone's like, holy shit, this is our moment. You guys, it's happening. It's happening. And then she was asked by Jay Shetty. This was posted literally today, a mere 9 hours ago. Jay Shetty is like, what's going on with you and Sean Evans? Now, Jay Shetty is a grifter, but I do appreciate him for asking this hard-hitting question. And she said that they hang out and they're taking it day by day or, quote, one wing at a time. So it's not no. It's not no, which is enough for me. Like, I will take what I can get. But oh my God. I said this on my story. I am going to repeat it. Dua Lipa and Callum Turner are my favorite celebrity couple right now. If Keke Palmer and Sean Evans start dating officially, it's going to be neck and neck. Like there's going to be some serious competition because I can't think of a cuter love story actually in the world. And I just think they both seem like really wonderful people. And again, I love love and I think they deserve each other. Oh, I have chills. So cute. And they're both like Chicagoland people. He's from Crystal Lake and she's from Chicago. They have that Midwestern like warmth and banter. And I just also, can I just go on a quick Keke Palmer tangent? She is one of the hardest working women in Hollywood. Like, no, I'm going to walk that back. She's one of the hardest working people in Hollywood. And something I admire about her so fucking much is she is a hustler. She has a Pilates app, you guys. She has a Pilates app practiced by Palmer. She's a Pilates teacher and she's a mom and she's an actor and she's a host. I mean, she is someone who will she's such an entrepreneur in every sense of the word. And she is someone who will explore all of her creative interests and not limit herself in any way. And I like, as someone who has so many creative things that I want to do, as I mentioned at the beginning of the podcast when I was talking about the Patreon, like I just really admire a celebrity like that who is so great at so many things and is like, fuck it, I want to do this, so I'm going to do it. And like, that's my right as an artist and as a person. So I just love her and I want her to be happy. And I think she would find a great deal of happiness with Sean Evans. Moving on. Anne Hathaway announced that she's pregnant. When I was on Van's podcast on Best Week Ever, we were talking about Anne Hathaway's pregnancy. And I talked about how, I'll let you listen to the episode, but I talked about how I was frustrated because Dumois posted about it like to the minute at the same time that Anne Hathaway announced it. And I think that's really annoying and fucked up. But also Van was like, did you know she had 2 kids already? And I was like, I had no idea, because Anne Hathaway is just very like chic and private and really lets her work speak for itself. And I think that's really cool. And that said, as someone who is just now coming around to motherhood and the idea that I want to be a mom, I am so deeply inspired by and grateful for women that I look up to in the public eye having babies in their 40s, because there's just so much scary propaganda out there about how like our biological clocks are ticking and like if you don't freeze your eggs by this age, then you have no shot and blah, 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 blah. Just there's so much noise around it. And so I just really admire women in their 40s having kids and being like, my body, my choice, my fucking life, and this is what I want to do. And I think that's really fucking cool. And we're seeing trends like across the board with women, famous and not famous, having kids later in life. And I think it's because times are a changing. And I think so many of us, I can speak for myself, wanted to take our time to settle into ourselves and our lives and our marriages and our careers, any iteration of all of the above, so that we could decide if this was the right decision for us and if we were in a place where we could do it in the way that we wanted to, you know? Like, I am not someone who knows how to half-ass anything. So I'm like, if I'm going to be a mom, I'm going to be a fucking mom. And it's not going to be my whole personality because I refuse, but I want to be a mom in a way where I can show up for my kid the best way I can. And obviously, those of you who are moms and are listening are probably like, good luck, sweetie. It's so much harder than you can even imagine right now. And I have no fucking doubt, babe. I have no fucking doubt. But I think as women, we deserve to go on that journey however and whenever we desire. And so good for Anne Hathaway. Love and light to her, and wishing her and her family all the best with her pregnancy. Okay, couple more things. Yesterday, I had a meeting with a friend. I was at the coffee shop a little bit early, and because, you know, in LA, it's like you never know if you're going to be able to find parking. So I was like, I better leave a half hour early for a place that's like 10 minutes away from me. And thank God I sat down when I did, because who did I see stomping down the street but one Janine Garofalo, Heather fucking Mooney up in this bitch. Heather fucking Mooney, Janine Garofalo. She was so Janine Garofalo about it. Her hair she looked like a rock star. She was in like heavy boots, band tee, shorts, petite, stringy black hair, big glasses on, just like full Heather Mooney mode, stomping down the street. And I was just like, oh my God, oh my God. I love LA. I love LA. I love that I can see this woman who I have looked up to since childhood stomping down the street, make weird accidental eye contact with her, and then just meet up with my friend, have a matcha, and go on with my day. I mean, isn't that just something? And one of y'all DM'd me so sweetly and was like, oh my God, you have to tell us about this. That's all that I have. I didn't speak to her. There was nothing else. It was a 0.2 second thing. But God. And then someone else in my DMs was like, she would be a stomper. And I'm like, yes, she would. And that is so fulfilling. That is so, feels like a hug to see Janine Garofalo stomping, because it's like one of those things where it's like never meet your heroes, because like the fear is that your heroes aren't going to be what you expect or what you hope they're going to be. But in that moment, watching her stomp down the street with her like stringy black hair and her big glasses and her band tee and her heavy boots, I was like, you are exactly what I would have wanted you to be and more. So shout out to Janine Garofalo, probably my number one fan. She's probably listening to this episode right now. I love you, girl. So good to see you. Hope I get to see you again. Last thing is, this is so stupid. I honestly don't know why I made a note of this, but I'm going to talk about it because it's whatever. So this girl on TikTok makes this melodramatic. She makes this melodramatic TikTok. She's a young person. If I were to guess, I would say 25 or under, if I were to guess. But who knows? Okay, who knows? She's in her car. Her hair is like cut in a bob with bangs, and she goes, hey, so I just went to get a haircut. As you can see, my hair is not cut. I'm like, I didn't know what your hair looked like before, so I didn't realize that you didn't get it cut. But like, okay, girl, keep going. She's like, I had an appointment. I showed up 15 minutes late. She's like, let me see if I can take you. Okay, I can take you, but I actually don't have time. I show her a picture of what I want. She's like, I don't actually have time to do that. I said, why? Then why am I sitting here? She said, I have another client. It's like, well, your client can't wait 15 minutes. And this girl basically goes on this tangent. I'm probably like telling some of the details wrong. Headline is, this girl got on TikTok who has like a decent following and whines into her phone camera about how dare this stylist tell her that she can't take her after being late to her appointment because she has another client. She's like, and this is just, I mean, as you can see, my hair is not cut. And it's like, well, yeah, babe, because that's what happens when you don't respect people and their time. And then she goes on to be like, I mean, you guys, everyone knows when you show up to a haircut, if the stylist isn't done, you just sit there and wait and they get to you when they get to you. So like in her mind, her stylist was supposed to accommodate her being late and then make the other client wait for being on time because she wasn't on time. And I was just like, the entitlement is off the charts. And I think about this often. You know, on Inside the Actor's Studio when James Lipton is like, what turns you on and what turns you off? RIP to James Lipton. If he were to ask me what turns you off, it would be entitlement. Like nothing pisses me off more. Just say you're an asshole, because truly the fact that like you didn't manage your time properly is really no one else's problem. And have I been late to things? Yes. You know what I do? You know what I do? Get this. I call the place and I say, I am so sorry. I'm running late. This is my ETA. Totally understand if you can't still take me, but just wanted to let you guys know, no worries at all. And they're like, oh yeah, like no worries, just get here when you get here. If I were to get there and they were to be like, actually it is too late, I would be like, yeah, that's my fucking fault. I'll reschedule. I can't imagine taking it out on someone, not just on your stylist, but then this other future client and being like, it's on you guys to figure my shit out. Like, are you kidding? And then the gag is she goes and gets a haircut elsewhere and she posts it and she's like, super happy to have gone to like this other stylist, Madeline. And no shade to Madeline, but like, here I go. This haircut was a mess. It was like, floppy air quote, like a wolf cut, but like the bangs were all fucked up. It was like this like fucked up haircut. And I'm like, listen, I love like an artsy geometric haircut. Like, I'm obviously like long layers till I die. Every time I try to experiment, I have a mental breakdown. So like long and wavy is all I'm going to do until I'm in my grave. But I love when other people do like experimental shit with their hair. This haircut was just objectively bad. It was like uneven. It was all over the place. And this girl was like, loving my new haircut from Madeline. And everyone was like, people in the comments were like, the bangs are a bit uneven, but other than that, it's terrible. And she's like, wow, guys, really fucked up of you to insult another stylist. That's so messed up of you. And like, it's true. Like, Madeline did not deserve the heat because she didn't really do anything wrong apart from give this girl like a bad haircut. But I was like, girl, after all the smoke for not being able to get a haircut, the fact that you finally got one and it looked a million times better before is just like, maybe it's like karmic retribution, but I was just like, wow, what a journey we just went on. Life is a road and I want to keep going. Love is a river, I want to keep flowing. Life is a road now and forever, wonderful journey. That's how I felt watching this girl's TikToks. I mean, what a fucking disaster. In the immortal words of Robert Durst on the Jinx with this hot mic moment, what a disaster. Okay, let's get into Hannah's Hot Girl Corner. My Hannah's Hot Girl Corner recs of this week are 2 scents. The first one is the scent Aqua Neroli from the brand Clean. This is my favorite summer perfume of all time, and I'm actually due to replace it. And the reason I haven't been able to yet is because unfortunately I first tried it in COVID, and so I've needed to give myself like a long buffer of time so that I no longer like fully associate it with that time. And I'm hoping that enough time has passed that I can use it and feel like joy when I use it, because this smell is perfect. It is. The top notes are bergamot, mandarin, and Sicilian orange. The middle notes are neroli, orange blossom, and jasmine. And then the base notes are aqua musk, amber, ambrette, and sandalwood. And it's described as a bright, unisex, aquatic floral scent inspired by the Mediterranean. It blends crisp, sunny citruses with a delicate white floral heart and a warm, skin-like, musky finish. It is actually that serious. I'm not kidding. It's the best summer perfume I've ever used. So if you're in the market for a hot girl summer scent, or a hot person summer scent, because this is a unisex scent. I mean, all scents are unisex, but like this one I think would smell sexy on anybody. Check out Clean Aqua Neroli. It's going to be linked in the show notes for you in my Shop My. And then another scent rec that I have is just gardenia perfume oil. I think sometimes like if you just have one scent that you love, just getting a really minimal, simple perfume oil that you can toss in your purse is a really chic move. It feels, I don't know, very like Euro, like very like chic Parisian lady to me, to just like dab it behind your ears and on your wrist every now and then. And I really love the smell of gardenia, which some people might argue is a little more springy, but I think it's a very like light, clean floral, and it just makes me feel so like sexy and romantic and ladylike anytime I wear anything gardenia scented. So those are my hot girl recs of the week, and I hope you love them. Finally, let's wrap up with grow up. Okay, a quick story, because there always is one, isn't there? Within the last few weeks, I'm going to be as vague as possible. Within the last few weeks, I went to an event. I ran into a person I've known for easily like 8 years, okay? They ignored me. They snubbed me. And it was the kind of thing where I was like, are they going to say hi? I don't know. And usually when I see them, I'm very much like, oh my God, hey, what's up? And I was like, I like kind of freak out and get like overzealous, because in my mind, I put this person on kind of a pedestal. And so I get like, ugh. And I was like, we're in this place of, as I've talked about the last few weeks, of like easing up, taking the foot off the brakes, like just settling into my confidence and myself, allowing myself to take up space, not feeling like I need to force everything all the time. So I'm hanging out at this event. I'm mingling with people thinking, I wonder if they'll talk to me. They didn't. They snubbed me. So this is where grow up comes in. I think snubbing people, grow up. And that's not even just me like being butthurt about it, even though like I clearly am because I'm talking about it right now. I do just think like manners wise, I think it's really rude to be at an event where you see someone you know and to not even do a brief like, oh my God, hi, like as you're on your way to the bathroom or on your way to talk to someone else. Like you can make it obvious that you don't want to be cornered and have a full conversation with them, but like to just not acknowledge someone at all or even give them a wave across the room, hi, is so fucking rude. And this is something I really take seriously in this life, and I know I've said it a million times and I've heard other creators say it too. People will always remember how you made them feel. And I felt really not shitty and not even surprised at this point, but I was kind of like, noted, fucking noted. And I don't want to sound petty. I don't want to sound like a tit for tat kind of person, but I do think we need to be cognizant of the fact that our energy is a precious resource, and where we put it and the people we invest in and the people we give it to is something that we should take note of. And I personally, in my life, no longer want to put my time and energy into trying to win the approval of people who, for whatever reason, just don't seem to want to give it to me. And I once had a therapist who said, you can be the juiciest, most gorgeous peach on the tree. Someone's not going to like peaches. And I can be the hottest Hannah in the world, and someone's not going to like this Hannah. And like, that's okay. But that said, snubbing people, grow up. Well, y'all, that's all for me. Thank you so much for listening. I cannot wait to fill you in on my trip. I'm not going to take any time off for my trip, by the way. I'm going to pre-record a couple episodes, though. So if you're like, what the fuck are you talking about? That's why, because I want to be able to take the week of my trip off. But I love you all so much. If you don't follow me already, follow me at Hannah Aaron Brown on Instagram and TikTok. That's HannahAAron And if you love this podcast, leave it a rating and a review. I see your ratings. I see your reviews. They really mean the world to me. Thank you so much. It helps the show grow. You guys, we've been charting in the personal journals section of Apple Podcasts, which is huge, like consistently charting. So thank you so much for helping me get there. Send this podcast episode to a friend, share it to your story if you like it. I think that's all for me. I'm going to leave you there. I love you all. I hope you have an amazing rest of your week, and I'll see you soon. Bye.